All right, I'm in the backpacking 9-hole cup qualifying round, rookie division. I played my main account this morning. I mean, Dunner and I played, but I wanted to get one more round in. I didn't think I was going to get to play anymore today, but it's raining. It stopped. I got all prepared to go out and work in the yard, and then it started raining again. So that's where it is. So screw it. I'm just bagging it and come in and play some golf. So hole number one. Hole number one. Let me look at them real quick. Let me look at them. I like to glance at the holes and see what they look like before I do the do. We were checking this out earlier today, and with a newer ball that's got topspin boost, you can get up into this area right here. I used a 5-power ball with a tailwind, and it was actually a little bit too much. A 4-power ball actually would have worked better. Would have gave me more room in my landing zone. I was trying to pinpoint, put it just right. Where the hell did my pen go? I was trying to pinpoint, put it, if I can squeeze the page together, right in this area right here. If I'd have brought a 4-power ball, I would have had a much bigger landing zone to try and bring it up through this in this direction. If there's 4-power topspin boost balls, those would really work. You can do it without the topspin and get up in there, but the topspin boost, it's really, this is a low spot, so it kind of goes like this and then goes up to the green, and to try and roll you up there to get up by the green. But it's definitely possible to do an overpower shot and get it up in there. I'm going to do just a layup shot where I'm just trying to put it right down in this area and then go for the cup. I should be like max club, mid club, depending on where I can get in there. If I use a 3-power ball, 3-power, if I can get everything to work. I'm going to take, I used a rock the other day and I didn't get quite enough distance. So I'm going to use my extra mile, and I think what I did was I pulled it back a little from the red line. I was like at like the +5, and I didn't use quite all of the topspin. And we're doing, the way that it hits there, especially if you're doing overpower, is like if you have a 3-mile-an-hour wind and you're using an extra mile, that would be a ring and a half. But it's actually pushing it forward about 2 rings. So it's or about 3 rings. So it's almost double. And you're going to find that same effect if you're hitting against headwind, where it's not just like laying it down, it is laying it down. Man, the screams just go for it. I really want to go for it. I really want to just try and blast it up in there, and my opponent's got the right idea there. So like with that 4.5 wind, it's going to move at about 9 miles an hour. So it's going to move it about 4.5 rings. And that's going to be way too much ball. Now, if they come over there and they use curl, they could try and bring it up. The deal there is that it's tailing off to the left, and you got that chance of getting in. I don't know that you want to really try and bounce over this sand that's on the right-hand side of where my opponent's aiming right now. Maybe. They might get lucky and get it through there. Let's see. I'm curious. My opponent do that stuff. It looks, that's a sand shot right there. Boom, in the sand. Boom. I really kind of want to, I think I may just go for it. What the hell? What the heck? What the heck? I think it's going to push it forward. Like, let's see like how far that pushes it forward. So you can see where my white ring's out there. I'm saying that it's going to push me out like almost half that white ring. So we'll see. Let's see if I can get it to bleed through that area. Hitting it perfect. Now watch this first landing zone to see how close it gets to that sand trap. Yeah, you can tell. Ooh, when I hit the rock. Got a great bounce over the rock, through the tree, on the other side. Still in the rough. Super makeable shot if you can hit it perfect, but I was a little lucky. Unlucky I hit that rock, but lucky I hit that rock. You have a great shot from down at the bottom. I made that shot. I practiced it, and then we went out there and did it. The shot from the bottom, if you're just laying it up, I was doing a +15 to the cup. I did a practice round the other day on my scouting report, and I did a plus 10, and it wasn't quite enough, but the plus 15 went right in the hole. Right in the hole. And then Dunner took the same shot, and it was right in the hole. In the hole. That will work. It works. Getting it perfect. In the hole. Woo! All right. Dicking around and got an eagle on the first hole. Look at that. So I was looking at the new balls that were out, the 355s, and I did buy a $5 pack just because there's one of the holes in this tournament. We were looking at like different options. We went out there and practiced today, and a 3 side spin ball wasn't quite enough, and a 4 power ball was too much. A 3 power ball was the perfect ball for the distance to the sand trap, but that 5 side spin that's awesome. All right, what am I doing here? I think I made a bad wind adjustment earlier. A bad pull. And what I did was I pulled the wind, and I should have actually pushed it. This is a spot where I really would like to have my grid back. And Google's our parent now, so they're making sure that they're changing our clothes for us. And if you're not getting apps from the App Store, you're getting apps. If you're going to a website and downloading their app, you have to give permission to download apps from a third source. But even after that, their security is like, well, that app wants to overlay. And even though you've okayed overlays, for security reasons, we're going to make sure that doesn't work. And I have 3 apps that are actually not in the App Store. And all 3 of them have overlays, and all 3 of them I'm having slight issues with. The only one that I can still use is my DU recorder. And if I move my little tabs over here, if I use my pen and then I go back and move it, I can still use it. 377. Why are we waiting for me to reconnect? What's the deal? Yeah, I'm in mid club, but I'm going to do a max pull. I'm going to be blue ring off of that transition. It should be 377, and I think I'm still off. Here's the 377. Hitting it perfect. I think I made that adjustment, and I was on the right-hand side of the cup. Just a little short. What's funny about that is I left it a little short because the other day it seemed like it came through hot and was going long, so I wanted to pull it back a little bit so that it could release and roll out and not. I hit the flagpole. I made a hole in one the other day, and I hit the flagpole at like Mach 5. And so I thought if I pulled it back a little bit, it could release and come in a little bit slower. But obviously, that was too far. Obviously. And that was with a 30% adjustment. 30%. Let me write that down. I made some notes. I went back and watched my walkthrough, and I made some notes. But then I missed the hole, and my notes got all jacked up. So now I got to make some new notes. Marlin, 30%. And that was 5 backspin. 1 right side spin. Into hole. All right. right, what do we got for hole number 3? Hole number 3 is a rock kingmaker sniper. Now I haven't made this week, and this is an awesome hole. This next par 5. I believe it is a plus 10 to the cup, and it's 3. No, that's a different hole. That's a different hole. I was thinking of a different hole. Which hole is this? I was on the wrong hole. My wife gets really upset about that. Really upset. All right. Now, I took this earlier today. This is the same thing, though. It is a rock kingmaker. You can use a Titan. Titan works fine. Any 3 power ball works fine. You can do, if you bring out a bigger club, you can use your extra mile, but this is one of those holes that the drive shot, it's better to bring whatever your most accurate club is. I took this for years with a QB until I got my rock up. This is the hole in one-on-one play. I always play it in one-on-one play to the left. There's no chance for Albie, but it's like once you take that shot a couple times, it's like a guaranteed eagle every time. Super easy. But you have to take it a few times so you understand how that shot works. And you can do it with a Marlin. You don't have to bring out a 3 power ball. What are you doing, dude? We're going to do this incrementally? Now, I suppose you could try and pound it up there and really get towards the front of that with this wind. And you better put some curl. There you go. You better put all of the curl. If he hits that perfect, I can't believe that that's not going to roll off into the rough. You can recover from up there, but that doesn't seem like it's enough curl. Hitting it perfect. Yeah. Like, what the hell were you thinking, dude? What were you thinking? It seems to me on the drive here in the past that I've done a plus 10% on the drive. That's what it seems like. You know, I'll have to put some curl on it to bring it back over towards the shadows. So 4-3, that'd be 4-7. Put some curl on it to bring it back to the shadow. Hitting it perfect. You don't want to over curl that, and there's a big opportunity right there on that second bounce. If you over curl, you'll clip that rough just like I did. I did that just so that you guys could see what it looks like when you over curl it. I'm trying to find a new grid because my grid is one of the overlays that's getting affected by Google's new security thing, trying to save me from myself. Thank you, Google, for like making sure that my device doesn't work with the stuff that I want it to work with. Thank you so much. But I've been trying to find a new grid, but I haven't found one that will. They're all set up, and they don't have the options that we're looking for this game. I like being able to write the code for the material queue, and I could make it exactly like I wanted it. And if I find one that has some language I don't know, I will spend the time to learn how to write that language. And it does roll out. So three one. This wind is so almost perfect for us. I'm gonna do 3-3. Getting it perfect. It's going to come in too fast. Ooh. Didn't pull it enough. What's funny there is if I do a bigger pull, it's like, no, you shouldn't have did any pull at all. And if I don't do any pull at all, it's like, no, you should have pulled it like 10%, 15%. And I do 15%. It's like, no, you pulled it too much. I've made a lot of albies on this hole, but it's like one of those ones that it's like you're constantly chasing the deal. It's frustrating. It's a secret. This is a great hole to make an albie on, though. It's not as good. There's another hole in this course that's got a serious albie look. In the hole. Recovered. The good news is if you hit where my opponent did up there, especially if you're using a Nirvana, you can recover. But if you hit in the back like where I was, if I'd have put on just a little bit more curl and ended up in that sand trap, there's no recovering. You're in big trouble. I mean, you could still recover. It's not that you can't recover, but you're gonna have to work at it. It's gonna be a little bit more of a struggle. Hole number 4. What is hole number 4? This rough bump right here. I need a navigator. I think the way the wind was blowing today, we were able to there's 2 different rough bumps that you can do on this. You can hit from the front or you can hit from the back, just depending on which way the wind's blowing. So the way that the wind is blowing today, I believe that it's kind of in this direction here. So you have a little bit, if you inch up towards the front of this, it gives you a little bit more room to work the wind out. So if the wind is, you got about 2.5, 2 3/4 rings. So if the wind's less than that, then I'm going to use that spot. But if it's higher than that, I may switch over to here and use the secondary rough bump. This one is a little bit, I haven't made as many hole-in-ones from this side as I have from here, but I have made hole-in-ones from both of those rough bumps, but we'll just see how the wind's blowing today. There's not a lot of holes in the game where we have 2 different rough bumps that we can hit to go in, but this is one that we can. Do that so it'll work. I couldn't press any of the buttons. This overlay thing, it just cracks me up. And what's funny is I've been using these programs for years and I haven't had any problems with them. I've updated the programs, I've updated my device, haven't had any problems with them. But just here recently, Google has made some changes and they've really locked down on some of this third-party stuff. They're getting, in my mind, hey, it's my device. I'm a big boy. I can tie my own shoes, Daddy. At least my wife says I can. And that's all that counts. Yeah, it's raining. It was sprinkling. Now it's raining. See if my opponent can get in. What's funny is it comes up, when you hit that shot, it comes rolling down to the hole. It looks like it's going to be short, but it does pick up some speed once it hits the green. 2.7. It's 2.97 rings. Let's see if I can eke myself to where I've got 3. I can. .97 rings, so it's right at 3 rings. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. Just a bit. I'm going to do a 15. I've taken that shot. I've hit it perfect in there, and I've missed on the outside. Not enough of a pull. I'm going to up that a little to 15 and see if that works. It is definitely raining. End hole. All right, nothing special so far. Okay, on this next hole, this is the hole I bought the new balls for in my 77 account. Let's look at what I have here as far as an APOC goes. APOC. What is my APOC? Kind of info. 92 curl. So this is definitely a hole that this new ball, and when just like looking at the ball, it doesn't, those numbers don't really excite me that much, but this is definitely a hole where that ball works good. This hole has so many different ways that you can go out. I don't know if there's another hole in the game that has as many different ways that you can go at it as this hole. You can lay it up here. In one-on-one play, I always lay it up here, and I'm trying to get into the shadows. The farther you can get into the shadows, the straighter the shot is to the cup, especially if you're using a low-level ball like a Marlin. It doesn't have a lot of side spin. The farther you can get away from this, you don't have to do any curl. You can go straight at it. And this shot right here is a blind. For those of you, if you're playing one-on-one, this is a blind curl shot. You can take your QB, pretty much any level. And you'll have to do this a few times with yours, just so that you can get the movement down. But you can take your QB, and it doesn't matter wherever the hell your red line's at. Put yourself 3 rings of separation off of this. My typical MO, and this is why it's really easy when I go to holes if I haven't played them in a long time, and you get into a spot and you're like, where do I put the ball? I'm almost always 2 rings off of any transitional surface. And when I'm doing a max curl shot, I'm always 3 rings off of any transitional surface. So I put it 3 rings off, max topspin, and it'll go right down, max curl, and it'll go right down the middle. So you got 1 shot here, you got 2 shots over here. You got a max overpower hook shot that you can do, that's 3. You got a max overpower hook shot you can do over here, that's 4. And if you got an APOC, and this is where that new ball comes in handy, because with a 3 side spin ball, you're going off in this direction. And with a 4 side spin ball, you're going off here, and with a 5 side spin ball, you're going off right down through the middle. But you have 5 different ways that you can go at this hole to put yourself. So out here you're in a wood, here you're in a long iron, here you're in a long iron, up here you're in a short iron. So you've got lots of different ways that you can go at this hole. This is actually pretty cool that there's all these different things. So if anybody tells you, no, the way you're supposed to do this is go right here, that's a bullshit. There's all different types of ways that you can go at this hole. The cool thing about that is that you may like this shot, but the wind might be wrong, and you don't want to take, like, you might like this shot because you like doing this rough bump, but the wind may be wrong for that rough bump, and it's like, wow, that's a really dangerous wind to do that rough bump because it's way downhill, and so you hit out here. Or you got a wind that's really conducive for this rough bump, and you go, hey, I'm going to lay it up here. So knowing how to play these holes in different ways, because a lot of times, and you see it all the time, one-on-one play, somebody goes out in a hole, and the wind's not blowing, they're trying to force a shot, and it's like, hey, the wind is not blowing well for that shot. Why don't you take this other shot? They don't take that other shot because they may not know that other shot. So knowing how to play these holes in multiple different ways can really help you out, especially in one-on-one. So the question is, I don't have any of those 5 side spin balls, and I know if I bring out a 3 side spin ball, I'm going to end up in trouble over here. So I'm going to do the max overpower hook. Let's do the max overpower hook. Yeah, and I got to move my pen because I can't interact with the screen. There we go. And I'm going to take a quasar and my APOC. We'll see if we can get this down. I practiced this max overpower hook shot on the right-hand side the other day several times, and I think I have the landing spot down. Maybe. I think I need to be about a quarter of a ring. I'll show you where I'm setting up. I'm in the second cut of the rough. There's a rock, and I want my white ring to be right on the transition between the rock and the second cut of the rough, and I'm going to put about a quarter of my white ring in the rough, because I still have some room for my first landing spot. I still have a little bit of room that I'm leaving on the table. And the more I can bring it to the left at the beginning of the shot, at the very end of the shot, the farther you can roll out. If that makes any sense. If somebody's watching this, they've never played this game before, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, what are you talking about? All right. So there's the rock. Max pull. I'm going to put about a quarter of my ring off the rock. I'm going to do 4-2, just 3 rings. It's 1.5 per ring, so I'm going to just do a 3 ring pull. And see if I can catch it and get over to the other side. Boom. And so, just a little bit too much topspin. I was doing it in my 77 account, I have a little bit more topspin on my APOC, so I was hoping that 5 would be just enough to keep me from rolling out into the rough. But that's what I'm saying right there. If you set it up to begin with a little bit more, that's why I moved it out a quarter of a ring. If you set it up a little bit more to the left, then you're opening up where it tails off at the very end of the run. I still had plenty of fairway there for where that first landing zone is. I still had plenty of fairway, so I could move it out just a little teeny bit more. The rocks there distort your rings, and so it's, as you're starting to pull it, it's really distorting the rings there. So it is kind of a tricky spot to have to set it up. Okay, where am I at in my club? There's max. There's mid. So I'm at the 3/4 mark. So I'm going to do 2 per ring plus 10%. So that'd be like 4. So I'm going to do just a titch over 2 rings. Try and hit it perfect. If I hit it perfect, it's going in the hole. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole! Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. I found that my Nirvana, for a long time, I played my Nirvana because your Nirvana and your rough iron and your sandwich play totally different than all the rest of your clubs, because they can hit from 1 inch to their maximum distance. So like the closer you can get them, the more accurate they are. Like they're the most accurate clubs in the game when you're less than half club. They're super accurate, especially when you get in a quarter club. I mean, they're super, super accurate. And for a long time, I did make an adjustment when I was at 3/4 club, but I was finding that for some reason that at 3/4 to max, it pretty much was hitting the same. But once you get to half, it goes from 2 per ring. I play it at 4 per ring at mid. All right, picking one up. Hole number 6. What is hole number 6? I'm gonna go look at this. I need to go look at it. I need to put some eyeballs on it. Hole number 6. Ah, yeah. This is the hole right here. What I'm trying to do is lay it up right here, and then there is a rough bump that you can do with a sniper. And if you don't have a sniper, you can use a horizon, and you can do a rough bump off of this area right here. And there is a great funnel. I haven't hit it this week, and I've hit a couple perfects in there, but I think it's more of where I'm setting it up and not the shot. So I'm going to take my number 2 bag and a Kingmaker. You have to bring a 3 side spin ball. I screwed up the other day and I was like dicking around trying to put on, and you need a 3 side, you need to put on max side spin. I'm going to put on 3 side spin, 3 1/4 top spin, and then find a spot. And there's several spots that'll work because there's a funnel. But I think what's happening is I've been too far to the left and I need to bring it more so that I'm in the center. The funnel works better in the center. In our practice round, or our qualification round earlier today, Dunner hammered it, sank it in. I hit a perfect as well, but mine ended up going to the left. And I'm not sure, I did a +10 on it, and I'm not sure, and he did a +10 as well. But I still think that my starting spot was off. And you're kind of at mid club, so it might be +10 at mid, which would be pretty much a straight up shot. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm not going to add on anything. I'm just going to do a regular wind adjustment. Because at mid club, my sniper is 1.1. And I can take this with my number 2 bag. Put on everything. Two, 3, and I'm going to do 2, 5. I want to lean. I'm rubbing the nubs. And I hit it great to the right. So I was really rubbing the nubs. The farther you are to the right, the better angle you have at the rough bump. So you can still do it if you're way to the left. You're just going to have to, it's still going to work pretty much the same, but distance wise it's better if you're on the right. What kind of ball is that? It must be a ball that was out during the Sakura Hills. It looks like the Asian pagoda. I'm just going to do a straight up shot here, 1 to 1. Okay, 3, 3 1/4. I can't really get back to the spot that I really like to get back to. Damn, I overhit that. I got some good distance on it. I was trying to see how much distance I could get, and that was it. And I'm at minimum club. No, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do the 1 per ring. Hitting it perfect. Just a bit outside. Needed to pull it a little bit more. That was not the right spot. I needed to be further back up on that hill. So I actually intentionally have, on the drive, changed my landing spot on the drive so that I could get up closer to that sand trap. And what I need to do is not do that. What I need to do is hit it, not worry about trying to pick up all the distance on the drive, but to leave it a little bit wanting. And so you could take that with it right there. I could have taken that with a katana. And I may switch that up. Let me change my notes here on that one. And I'm going to put rock katana. But if you're going to use a katana, you're going to need to get all of the distance. But there's a spot a little bit, I couldn't get there because it was right where the red line is, but there's a spot there that, like, it's super funnel. Like, you can move it a ring either direction. I've actually made more albies here on a great to the right than I have on a perfect. I mean, I've made them on perfects and a great to the right, but anything to the left, it usually kind of pops it out of that funnel area. But this is a great hole to get an Albion. I'm saving them for the weekend round. That's the deal. It's a draw. All right. What do we got here? What do we got? Hole number 7. What is hole number 7? We've got Grizzly nav plus 27.5. 1.275 times whatever the wind is. And I'm bringing a navigator. When I looked at this the other day and I shot the walkthrough, I thought this was a different hole, and I was really kind of hoping it was the other hole. And there is a rough bump that you can do on this hole, but you do get close to the sand if you're trying to run it through there. There's a sand trap on the left-hand side up by the cup, up by the green. And if you're trying to do the rough bump, you're going to run anything that you hit great to the left is going to end up in the sand. And it's bad enough when you fail, when you don't get minimum score on a par 4 or a par 5. That's bad enough. But on a par 3, man, that blows. When I first started playing the game, the par 3s, I had more problems with the par 3s than I had with the other. Like, par 3s were dangerous as hell. My whole motto on the par 3s was, unless it was one of those par 3s that you had, because there are some in the game that, like, wow, you got a serious opportunity for hole-in-one. If there was any opportunity for an epic fail, I just went up there with a Guardian and stuck it to the green and went on to the next hole. Hey, get over here. I think it was 5 backspin. I don't need to use 5. Let's try 4. Let's just try dialing it up to the cup. .1 395. So let's say 4 rings. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if I can get the mystical hole-in-one on this. Well, I will tell you right now, I'm excited. I'm excited because I've been every time on this hole, I've been off to the left. So that means I overpulled it there, and I just raised it to 27.5. I was at 20, so I went up. When we were playing earlier today, Dunner tried to 25, and it wasn't enough. Or he was off. It seemed like it needed to be more, but I tried a 20, and I've been like right off the left-hand edge of the cup, so the 27.5 was too much. So we'll go back to the 25. We'll try a 20. We'll try a 20. We'll try a 25. Wow. Damn, that thing was so big it wouldn't even fit on my screen. The thing about those precision balls is that you still have to make a great adjustment. If you hit perfect and you didn't make a great adjustment, it's still going to miss. But when they came out with those perfect balls, Playdemic's deal when they first started the game was, their whole thing was that they wanted this to be kind of like the online NASCAR, the simulation for NASCAR. They wanted it to be an actual sport where they could take the top 100 players and they'd actually have a tournament on the weekends and they could do the whole little deal and it would be a sport. And when EA Sports bought it, it could go one of two ways. It could either go that way. And EA Sports used to own the NASCAR game, and Henry, the guy that owns the Boston Red Sox, bought it and actually went to e-racing, or iRacing, excuse me, and he did make it a sport. There is no cheat stuff like those precision balls. As soon as they came out with those precision balls, now that's not going to happen. They're not going to, I mean, it can't be a sport if you've got a cheat like that that's built into the game. What hole are we on? Are we on hole number 8? Yeah, that was the hole. Hole number 8. All right, we have to get on in one. We have to. It's mandatory. Bag number 1, and I'm going to bring a Zerk. Now, one of the things on this hole, I played this hole the other day, and I played it several different ways. I was trying to get some stuff out, and then today, instead of trying to get your ball guide going through this area, the key thing to watch here is your second bounce. Because if your second bounce is right there, then your ball trajectory is going off like this. And the farther you are to the right, if you draw a line through the shallow part of this rough, the farther you are to the right, the more you've got to go through the rough before you clear it to get into this fairway over here. So your idea is to come through the middle where the fairway is the shallowest. But if you're on this just traditional line, there isn't enough room. If you put on hardly any curl at all, you're going to clip this rough. So starting it off over on this side where you're a couple rings of separation from this fairway, now your ball guide's going out like this, your second bounce is out here. Now you have room to bring it around with curl. And you can use max curl to try and get it to go in the right direction if you're using an extra mile. But if you put it on this track over here, your second bounce, if you put on any curl at all, you're going to end up clipping the rough. So setting it up more to the right so that you can put curl on it to bring it back around to try and get it to go through this narrow neck. I use my pen, so I've got to move it so that I can access the game. Hole number 8. And the whole thing about using a power 5 ball is you won't have to do any overpower. You can use the wind. I'm going to use the wind. I don't think I need to put all the wind back in, but I'm going to put a lot of the wind back in. I'm going to start off over here as far as I can so that I've got more room to curl. 3/6. I'm going to add on 10%, so there's hitting it perfect. And see if max curl was too much from that side. I can tell you if you're on the other side and you put on max curl, you're going to, just barely made it through. You're going to clip that rough. And it's not that you can't use a lower power ball, you just have to use overpower. Now the thing about hitting it right there with it is if you get your bounces right, you can see where their third bounce is. If your third bounce hits way up here in the front of this, then your next bounce is going to go over that rough and you'll miss it completely and you'll end up on the rough on the other side. So if they hit this perfect, and I want them to hit it perfect because I'm going to tell you I will be amazed if this doesn't just bounce over that rough and end up, now they hit it 2 rings great to the left. They still might be, now they're going to clip it. If that would have ended up in the fairway, there's a good chance that it would have just bounced over the rough and then they would have been in deep doo-doo. Played almost this exact same shot earlier and wind is not really a factor. Hitting it perfect. In the hole. Eagle! Woo! You almost got to get an eagle on that hole. There's no such thing as a gimme, but there are some par 4s in this game that you really got to get an eagle, and this is one of the ones that you really got to get an eagle. There's easier par 4s in the game, but this is when you really need to get an eagle on. There's going to be way too many people in the bracket that are going to get eagles on this, and if you don't get one, you're automatically a shot behind, even if everything else is perfect. What's funny is that looks like it was short, even if they would have hit it perfect. In the hole. Good game. Good luck in the tournament. All right, hole number 9. Wow, there's a lot of people at 13, huh? Is the only separation here as I haven't played 9 holes. There we go. So I have no idea what's at the top. We'll see. Let's see here. We were talking about this hole when we got done earlier today playing the round. I need to actually look at my buddy Dale Appleby's. Dale let me know that Dale Appleby has a shot because he loves this hole that you can do where your first bounce, if you bring a horizon, because if you're trying to do this rough bump down here, you're going to need something that's got a ton of topspin. So I mean, and a horizon works pretty good because it's got great ball guide. But you're doing it's a second bounce rough bump where you're at the top of the hill on the first bounce and then it comes down, hits the rough, and then runs off to the cup. I need to go watch that. You can pull up Dale Appleby's YouTube channel and find, I'm sure he's got a standalone video for this. But this area right here, area number 1 is here, and area number 2 where the rough bump is way down here. And then the green kind of slopes up on the other side. But I'm just wondering what the adjustment would be from here, because from where you're hitting to here is pretty flat. But I'm just wondering if you're just playing the flat number and then the second bounce is true, or if you're actually playing an adjustment for this second bounce. I need to go watch that video and see what the deal is. Second bounce rough bumps are, you really got to know how to make the wind adjustment. If the wind is blowing side wind, it really is not that big of a deal, because if you're off, it's just going to blow you off to the left or the right. But if you're getting headwind or tailwind, it can be really tricky, especially with headwind. When you're going downhill and you've got headwind blowing up against you, it is super laying the ball down on this second bounce. And it can be very easy to end up in the sand. The good news is that you're going to have to run so much topspin in order to get to the cup that even if you clip the sand, there is a good chance that you might get out of it. But if you miss that rough and you're in tailwind and you miss the rough and you hit the fairway instead, you're definitely going to end up on the backside. So I need to watch that video. And I will tell you that Dale will have the numbers on this because this is one of his favorite holes, and he plays this hole a lot. It's in, I think it's in Tour 9 is where Acacia Reserve, well, it used to be. So he played this hole quite a bit. I'm actually just trying to do the normal rough bump, and I'm going to do 30% to the cup. I'm going to start at 30%. And that's if I can get to the other side. Now, I made it over really nicely earlier today, but I was on the left-hand side of the fairway, and if you're on the left-hand side, it tends to bleed off. So there's several different ways that you can play this hole. You can do just a layup shot here, and there's several ways that you can get to it. You can start off on this side if you bring a big enough ball and stick it, or you can start off over here and bring it around. I've never really had a lot of luck coming this way where I'm trying to do the max overpower hook. It's possible, but I haven't had a lot of luck doing it. I'm going to try and bring out a bigger power ball and go from here. And you can do this if you've got like a side wind or a tailwind, but if you've got any headwind, even with an extra mile, an upper develop extra mile, you're not going to be able to get over. You're going to end up clipping that rough. But I'm going to try and end up down here, and there is a ridge that runs right down the center. It's actually right here. And if you're on the left-hand side, the right-hand side's pretty flat. So the ball kind of just travels however it's going. But if you're on the left-hand side, as it slows down, it's going to break more and more to the left, and it's very easy to end up rolling off into the sand or this rough. You can recover from here. That's the good news. And if you screw up here, you may have a problem. Dunner ended up in the sand up here earlier, and he laid it up right in here and then was able to recover, and that's the way to go. And I always think that if you're trying to recover, you're coming at this hole, that the options are better on this side, bringing it around, than they are on this side. But it just depends on where your bounces can get. But this side over here, I think, in general, will usually give you a little bit better ability to get to the cup if you're in trouble coming that direction. All right. All right. Here we go. Let's see if we can get an albie on this. I've made some albies on this, but this isn't a hole I can claim that I've made a ton of albies. I have made a few, and I'd like to add to that right now. I'd like to make it a few plus one. The boss Spearman goes first. I'd like to see where their red line is, just their normal red line with a power 3 ball. Because their normal red line's got to be somewhere up in this neighborhood. The thing I don't like about that is setting it up 3/4 of a ring off. So if you hit anything great to the right, you're in the rough right there. And if you're in the rough right there, you're screwed. I mean, it's not that you can't get over to the other side and then make some long iron shot to get in, but this is a tough green to have to come at from distance to try and get it in. It's hard enough to get an albie, let alone trying to recover. Where's my second bounce? Okay, I think I have enough room there. 4-9, maybe. There's 5-5. That puts me a couple rings in. Oh, jeez. That'll put me somewhere in trouble. So I'm going to get to demo the shot that Dunner did earlier. I think I'm actually worse off in the sand than he was. The only thing I got going for me is I've got a Spitfire and it's got a ton of topspin and it's got max distance for a sand wedge. So I should be able to get it. However far I can get is as close as you're going to get with a sand wedge from that spot. Now, Horizon has a little bit more distance than a sniper, and you could, from that area, that's the shot you're doing for that second bounce rough bump. They're about 1.5 rings in a power. And I was pushing that shot. I should have set that shot up more to the left so that I had a little bit more room and put on right-hand side spin instead of the left-hand side spin that I put on. That's all right. We just need to recover. Maybe. Give myself a little more room. There's 5. I'm going to put on some curl. Hit a 1 ring great to the right. Not enough curl. All right, now I really have to recover. Now we're going to see if I got any skills with my Nirvana. I am prepared. I'm going to make this shot. I didn't bring a putter out here. I figured I wasn't going to need it, so I didn't bring my putter. I just brought a driver. I brought a driver on my long iron, but for some reason I carried my sand wedge with me. I don't know why I brought it. In the hole. All right, here we go. Here we go. see where I'm at in my club. There's max. There's mid. So I'm at the 4 per ring range. So it's 3.3 equals divided by 4. 1.1 rings. If I can get it lined up at the cup. 1.1 rings. Let's hit this perfect. Ah! Perfect would have been really good. That would have been super close. I think that would have been in the hole. That was right there. That was a good mid-club shot too. Damn it. All right. That's how you drop one on hole number 9. That's funny because I dropped one yesterday. I timed out yesterday. Tied for number 1. Would have been good if I hadn't dropped that shot. Look at that. What a bummer. All right. That was just a practice round for me to check numbers for the first round. I don't know. I don't know that it helped me out any. There's some of the shots just making the approach shot coming in, but the second shot I'm still kind of working on my numbers. So what I'll do tomorrow, is I'm going to play this account first and go through the numbers one more time, and then I will play my last account, and we'll see what we can get done. I'm 100% confident that especially in my 77 account, whatever bracket I'm in, I'm going to have to shoot a 16 or better in order to win. And in this account, I probably will have to shoot a 15 or better in order to win. So we'll have to be on our A game. We'll have to pick up at least all the par 4s, and there's a lot of opportunities on this course to pick up shots. So we will see what happens as the weekend round goes on. Thanks for watching. Everybody be safe. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you on the next video.